You're here because something feels off in your relationship. Maybe it's that nagging feeling in your chest, the constant doubt, or the sense that no matter how hard you try, things just aren't right. Here's a tough truth: the worst thing you can do is ignore that feeling and keep living on autopilot. But here's the good news: there's a clear and effective way to figure out whether you should stay or move on. This isn't about gut feelings or vague advice from a friend. This is about real clarity, guided by questions that will show you exactly where your relationship stands and what direction to take. Today, we'll go through the 5 most powerful questions to evaluate your relationship. Answer them honestly, and you'll have the definitive answer you've been searching for. You'll know without a doubt whether to keep investing or walk away. No more indecision. No more waiting for changes that never come. It's time to take control of your love life and build a future that actually makes sense for you. Grab a notebook because your clarity starts now. Let's get one thing straight: having doubts about your relationship doesn't mean you're failing as a person or partner. It means you're human. Even Mark and Emily, that picture-perfect Instagram couple who are always posting vacation selfies, probably argue about who left the toilet seat up. The difference between being stuck in doubt and finding a real solution lies in stopping to assess what's truly going on. Here's where many people go wrong: they ignore the problems, hoping time will magically fix everything. But here's the harsh truth: nothing changes if you don't. So how do you start evaluating your relationship? First, you need to carve out some space to think clearly. The next time you find yourself endlessly scrolling TikTok, swap 30 minutes of that for an honest conversation with yourself. Grab a journal, sit in a quiet spot, and ask yourself what's really working here and what isn't. This isn't about the small stuff, like forgetting to put the cap back on the toothpaste. We're talking about the big things, the kind that impact the core of your relationship: happiness, respect, shared goals. Here's an example. Imagine Mike, who loved his girlfriend but always felt frustrated by her constant criticism. He started asking himself, is this normal, or do I deserve something different? That moment of reflection was the first step toward realizing that no one deserves to feel like they're never good enough. Now's the time to face your doubts head on, with courage and maybe a little humor. Because even in life's toughest decisions, a touch of lightheartedness can make all the difference. The first question is, am I still happy in this relationship? This is the first question for a reason. At the end of the day, happiness is what we're all chasing, right? Now let's be clear, we're not saying every moment needs to be perfect. Nobody's grinning ear to ear while debating which side of the toast to butter. But here's the thing, a healthy relationship should boost your happiness, not drain it. Take a moment to reflect. Do you feel energized and content when you're with your partner, or do you feel more anxious than you would sitting in your boss's office waiting for feedback? It's not normal to feel like that all the time. Sure, tough moments happen, but the foundation of a relationship should feel like being on a team, not stuck in a battle. Happiness here isn't about fancy vacations, parties, or Instagram-worthy moments. It's about the little things: laughing at silly jokes, feeling supported after a bad day, or simply enjoying a quiet moment together. If your happiness consistently feels low, that's a red flag. Think about Rachel. She noticed that whenever she shared her ideas or dreams, her boyfriend would interrupt or change the subject, leaving her feeling invisible. Over time, she realized she was happier when he wasn't around. Don't confuse stability with happiness. Just because something feels familiar doesn't mean it's good for you. Answering this question honestly is crucial, because if you're not happy in your relationship, that's the first thing to address before anything else. And remember, being happy isn't a luxury, it's the baseline. You're not here to settle for emotional scraps. If you're not feeling it, it's time to dig deeper and figure out why. The second question, are our values and life goals compatible? Values and life goals. Those little things that seem unimportant at first, but eventually become the giant elephant in the room. Look, it's fine if you love pepperoni pizza and your partner prefers plain cheese. But if one of you dreams of city life while the other wants to escape to a forest cabin, we've got a problem. Values are like a couple's emotional GPS. They guide the day-to-day choices and the big life plans. If you're not aligned, it's like trying to drive 2 cars tied together by a rope. Eventually, something's gonna break. Take Chris and Laura, for example. Chris was all about financial freedom and saving for a house. Laura believed in living for the moment and loved spending on travel. They ignored their differences for a while, but eventually it led to constant arguments. Here's the reality. Differences in values can sometimes be negotiated, but in other cases, they're deal breakers. And to clarify, we're not talking about trivial preferences like what to watch on Netflix. We mean the big stuff: marriage, kids, religion, lifestyle, finances. A great way to assess compatibility is to list your top 3 values and goals. For instance, family. How do you both feel about kids? How much time do you want to spend with your respective families during holidays? Living situation. Do you both see yourselves in the city or countryside? Lifestyle goals. Is the plan to travel regularly or put down roots in one place? Is the priority buying a home or investing in experiences now? After listing yours, ask yourself, are these things respected in my relationship? If the answer is no, you need to decide whether you're willing to compromise. Because in the end, it's not differences that break relationships, it's the lack of respect for those differences. If you can't walk together toward a future that makes sense, it's time to stop pretending things will magically work out. If you're enjoying the video so far, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. It helps a lot and makes sure you don't miss our next videos. Third question, is there mutual respect and admiration? Without respect and admiration, a relationship is like a forgotten plant on the balcony. It might survive for a while, but eventually it withers and dies. Respect keeps communication healthy, while admiration fuels the emotional connection. Without these, what you have isn't a relationship, it's mere coexistence. So how do you know if there's mutual respect and admiration in your relationship? Focus on actions, not just words. Does your partner truly listen to you, or do they cut you off to explain why you're wrong? Do they celebrate your successes, or make you feel guilty for them? Take Megan and Josh for example. Megan loved writing, and when she published her first book, she expected Josh to be thrilled. Instead, he said, "Cool, but that's not gonna pay the bills, right?" That one comment struck at the heart of the respect and admiration she deserved. Admiration isn't just about compliments, it's about valuing who your partner is. Respect, on the other hand, means showing mutual support even during disagreements. It's about never belittling each other, never using words as weapons, and always treating your partner as someone who truly matters. If you feel respect and admiration are lacking, don't ignore it. Healthy relationships can't survive without them. And let's be real, you deserve someone who sees and values the best in you, not someone who makes you question your worth. If respect and admiration are missing, your relationship is already in survival mode. The real question is, are you willing to live like that? Now, the fourth question, and can the problems we face be solved? Every relationship has its issues, no exceptions. But here's the key difference between couples who thrive and those who fall apart: the willingness to address those problems. Not every issue has a solution, and it's okay to admit that. Take Tom and Sarah, for instance. Tom felt neglected because Sarah spent more time on her phone than paying attention to him. They had an honest conversation, set boundaries around screen time, and things got better. That's an example of a problem with a solution. Now think of Brian and Kate. Brian wanted children, but Kate was certain she didn't. That wasn't a problem that could be solved with compromise. They were on fundamentally different paths. When evaluating the issues in your relationship, be realistic. Ask yourself, is this a problem we can work on together, or is it an unfixable barrier that divides us? It's not just about finding solutions, it's about both partners being equally committed to resolving the issues. If the same problems keep popping up, it's a red flag. Maybe they don't have a solution, or perhaps one partner isn't willing to try. Either way, that's just as critical as the issue itself. Here's the truth: if the challenges you face are bigger than your willingness to tackle them, the relationship won't move forward. Because when one person stops fighting for it, the partnership turns into a burden. Remember, you don't have to carry the weight of the relationship alone. A couple only thrives when both partners are willing to build together, brick by brick. If not, it's time to reconsider. And the last question, would I stay in this relationship if I weren't afraid of being alone? This question might sound simple, but it's one of the hardest to answer. The fear of being alone is one of the biggest reasons people stay in relationships that no longer work. It's uncomfortable to admit, but staying just because you fear the emptiness will never lead to happiness. Now, reflect on this. If you woke up tomorrow with the certainty that you'd never feel lonely, would you still choose to be with this person? This question reveals a lot. It's not just about love or habit, it's about freedom. Are you here because you truly want to be, or because you're afraid of the what if? Think of Jenna. She had been with her boyfriend for 5 years, but for the last 2, they felt more like roommates than a couple. When her friends asked why she didn't leave, her response was always the same: but what would I do without him? What if I never find someone else? That fear kept her stuck until she realized fear was no reason to stay. Staying in a relationship out of fear of being alone is like choosing to survive instead of live. Loneliness might seem scary, but it's far better than being trapped in something that drains your happiness and self-worth. Remember, you don't need a relationship to feel whole. The strength to be happy comes from within, not from someone else. And if you answer this question honestly, you'll uncover what you truly want and deserve. Because here's the bottom line: life's too short to be ruled by fear. Choose true love, or choose to love yourself first. Either option is better than living chained to fear. We've reached the most important part. Now that you've reflected on these 5 questions, it's time to make a decision with clarity and confidence. First, revisit your answers. If you recognized happiness, compatible values, mutual respect, a willingness to solve problems, and a genuine desire to be with your partner, then you have a strong foundation to stay. It doesn't mean everything will be perfect, but it does mean the relationship is worth fighting for. On the other hand, if your answers revealed a lack of respect, conflicting goals, unsolvable problems, or the realization that fear is holding you back, the decision is clear. It's time to move on. Not because it's easy, but because it's what you need to grow and find true happiness. Here's the key: trust yourself. The worst thing you can do now is second guess your answers out of fear or guilt. Your intuition is a powerful tool, and the responses you gave reflect what you already know deep down. Remember, deciding to stay or go isn't about winning or losing. It's about choosing what's best for you. If you choose to stay, commit fully and work on making things better. If you choose to leave, do so with courage, knowing you're heading towards something better. And above all, remember this: you deserve to be happy, respected, and truly loved. Never settle for less. With these answers in hand, make the decision that reflects who you are and what you truly want. Because when you choose what's best for you, you're choosing what's right. If this video helped you, subscribe to the channel for more tips and insights to transform your love life. Share in the comments. Which of these questions was the most revealing for you? And if you know someone who's facing the same doubts, share this video with them. It might be exactly what they need to hear.